Hi, hello, I'm Leo. Happy New Year's and welcome back. We're starting 2026, woo! You know what that means? I'm doing my yearly redraw. This will be a pretty yappy video, so you can leave it on in the background as I'm going to be mostly talking about my OCs and my old art styles lol. Now, this is no ordinary redraw. This one is special by being a test of abilities and knowledge rather than simply me drawing the same blue-haired NB for the 6th or 7th time. Every year I get scared to pick up the pen, especially since this was my first time recording it, and so preventing me from looking up references during the middle of it, which is kind of cheating as this year I view it as a test, so last year should be taken with a grain of salt. This is the only drawing I can stay motivated to keep redrawing for some reason, but I'm glad because it allows me to see my improvement through the years. But why this one? About Leslie. So, who am I drawing and why are they so important? Well, this is my character, Leslie Hoshi, which is Japanese for star. They are the ex-main character of my old story. Just to illustrate how important they are, their name was firstly Leo, which I have used countless times for other things until I took it for myself because of how much it means to me. They were originally a self-insert that looked how I wanted to, with blue hair and cute clothes, and they had a supportive group of friends which my lonely self wished for more than anything, which I do have now. I have multiple friend groups these days, all thanks to them and the motivation they gave me. But as the years passed, I matured slightly and I created Wisterian to replace them. Leslie was kind and empathetic, a real light in the darkness of their story. Every other character was a bad influence that actively fought to pull them down, from their friends to their boyfriend Valentine, or even their own mom, as seen in the old art, where I inadvertently made the mean characters wear darker clothes and made Leslie wear lighter ones. I feel this shows inherent associations people have of colors, and how color theory can be used without even knowing it exists. People say, learn color theory, but it's all based on what we already think of colors, but it's explained in a way where we understand those underlying feelings. I was a little giddy looking back and coming to this whole realization. Colors are an important part of characters, and Leslie's blue is no different. Their blue was always accompanied by tears and pastel colors. Their blue was a contrast to their often feminine appearance that gave me comfort in my own looks. And their blue represents the self I find in them. Blue has always been one of my favorite colors. Sounds like a poem, doesn't it? You know who else has blue as one of their main colors? Wisterian. You know, I'm feeling generous today, so I'll let you in on a little lore tidbit. Wisterian and Leslie know each other, and moreover, they're friends. In modern day, about the year 2025, Leslie would be given a college assignment that requires writing a paper, which would push them to go to the main museum of their country to gather information on the ancient astronomer, historian, scientist, yada yada so on, the very smart and very dead Wisterian Yasamin. They would likely see our modern Wisterian Aura from this point on called Neo-Wisterian. Leslie would seek out Neo-Wisterian to learn more on the topics, as Neo-Wisterian is unsurprisingly also a historian. The two would bond over their love of history and astronomy. Through Leslie's own story, which will focus more on relationships and emotions, they would be blessed as the guardian of harmony alongside Wisterian, regaining his memories and becoming the guardian of knowledge again. When I thought of these two being so close, my face went a bit sour, but then I realized that Leslie is now in their early 20s and Wisterian is in his late 20s. When I think of Leslie, I just remember the 15-year-old baby that I made when I was 12 myself, and how we've both grown up so quickly. It's such an odd feeling. I know it may seem weird to reminisce about a fictional bunch of lines, but to me it feels like looking in a mirror. Well, when it comes to art, why don't we take a deeper look back? The previous years. It all began on December 31st of 2020 and ended January 1st of 2021. It's been over half a year of lockdown, and I had gotten my first drawing tablet and laptop. This cold night, I wanted to make one last drawing before going to sleep, and inadvertently started this whole challenge for myself. It was a simple drawing of Leslie crying, their big cute eyes all teary, nothing deeper, yet its simple cuteness and perfect timing started the ball rolling. Next year, for 2022, we have a new version of Leslie. You can see that my style evolves into a more detail-oriented one, especially in the clothes and hair. And a semblance of a consistent style starts to appear with these coordinated colors and a new type of line art. For 2023, there's a great jump in skill and anatomy and realism. I still admire the hair as it's so nicely well done. You can also see that there's the first appearance of a background with the little stars which inspired the following years. This was also the last year Leslie was the main character. After this, in 2024, they were semi-replaced by Charon, who is an important character but no longer the helpless victim in his story, more of an antagonist to both Leslie and Wisterion, who replaced them as main character. This can be clearly seen in the fact that Leslie's design barely changes for 3 years in a row after this. In 2024, you can see the ideas from 2023 but elevated with a much more humanoid shading. I think this foreshadows the direction of my future growth. Here I used overlays and played with making the line art thinner. I also began using references this year, but it was still rare for me. 2025 was also a big upgrade in vibrance. This was my second year in art school and I had begun to have trouble with painting. The teacher's advice was always just like, look for the colors, feel the colors. Great advice, man. I totally just opened my third eye for that one. I had to make up my own way of seeing colors, and instead of actually seeing pink in there, I just would still add it as it's expected to be there, and well, it resulted in this. This was also the time I began to ease off of the multiply layers, rendering manually straight on top of the coloring. This is especially clear in the face, which is so very softly rendered, which was my first time doing so, and even using references, which I try to stay away from, as I feel like I'm not being myself enough. I feel like I'm not being original and that I'm cheating at art, which it definitely is not. But yeah, it has its quirks that prevent it from being fully cutesy or fully realistic. The rest of the rendering keeps the cell shading rendering style, which I really like and continue using to this day. The only thing that taints the piece is the odd rendering on the blouse with folds that make zero sense, but it can be overlooked. 2026, this year I tried to go for a different direction, and instead of working towards prettiness, I wanted to show another style which I have learned. As seen in the previous years, I entirely rely on cell shading, which I like, but only focusing on a single thing can hinder your progress, and branching out every once in a while is good because there may be aspects or techniques you can apply to your own other art. If you've been watching the speed paint closely, you can see me using a watercolor brush with the ability to blend, which I haven't ever used until last November. I only stuck to my 2 pen brushes, one with pressure as seen in 2022 and one without pressure as seen in 2023, so it immediately distinguishes this year from the others as it's something completely new. I didn't go for details this year as I've shown previously that I'm capable, so instead of wasting my time redoing what I know I can do, I played around with the overlay layers. This year's clothes were definitely an upgrade after the last year and I quite like them. I also feel that while the colors aren't as widely as appealing and as vibrant as 2025, the face is much better rendered and it doesn't have light where it's not supposed to be. Now I should probably explain why Leslie looks like that this year. I mentioned before that they haven't been a main character for years and that they haven't gotten a redesign in a long time, so what's up with that? Well, that was true until last year. I began giving them a redesign, but if I want to get to them, first I need to remake all the other characters that surround them in their friend group, which I am currently doing, but it's going very slowly. For now, they look a bit like a Frankenstein kind of creature with an unfinished design. I didn't want to use the same old design and I wanted to move them forward. The main changes are the hair becoming longer and more cloud-like at the ends, and getting a new outfit. Also, if you want to see a video of redesigning my old OCs, please comment down below. I'd be happy to share my process if you're interested. I do recommend everyone do a challenge like this. It allows you to see your own progress, and it's only once a year. I've seen a lot of people be disappointed by their art progress or, well, lack thereof it in this whole online era. It's hard not to compare yourself to others, I know that very well. But I'm sure if others who think their art skills are degrading did something like this, they would be able to see the little things that count as improvement. You don't have to be drawing or learning new things all the time. Take my 2024/2025 drawing as an example. It was literally my lowest year with my least amount of drawings, yet I still made improvement. And that goes for this year too. But even if there wasn't progress, I wouldn't be upset. Not meeting unrealistic expectations is normal. I try to go by the mantra of, is it a problem you can change? Yes? Then try to fix it. If not, then don't think about it too much or you'll worry yourself sick, though it's hard to stick to it sometimes. I was originally disappointed by the result at first, but the closer I looked, the more I saw little pieces of progress. Art isn't about immediately being a master, it's about building your craft, and no one should be belittled or bullied for taking a bit longer, especially if it's someone thinking it of themselves. I hope this collection is able to show how long it may take to create substantial progress. Who knows what next year has in store? I should probably stop before I get too sappy. I'm a big tough man. Anyway, I hope you got something from today's ramblings. Art is so precious to me, even if being an artist is not. I valiantly defend artists and artistic freedom. I want to make this space one that accepts every form of art and respects it. Art is art unless it's Gen AI. I wish everyone who likes to look at art or draw a good morning, good evening, and good night. Also, before I go, I'm on Vgen now, so if you want to commission me, you can keep tabs on that. See you later!